Hi guys, happy Monday. Wow, I need to do my new growth. Anyways, gotta stop focusing on my hair. So, what did we go over yesterday? Ancestors. So, today we're gonna go over tapping the bone. And yeah, it's just pretty freaking amazing, so. Alright, tapping the bone. I know, it sounds hilarious. So many cultures around the world operate from a belief that the gods are divine ancestors, from the Shinto religion in Japan through many African traditions and the Maoris, whatever that is. Don't know what that is, don't care. Maybe I should care, maybe I'll look it up, who knows. To many of the witchcraft traditions of old Europe. So, for most of them, reverence for more mundane ancestors is also a major factor in their beliefs. Well, of course it is, for everybody. So also as a practitioner of the elder faith, ancestral workings are an integral part of the author's practice. That's the faith, the elder faith. That's the tradition, I suppose, I think. I'm not 100% sure, so. Technically speaking, everything that he communes with, my gods, he says, I'm communing with my ancestors on many levels, and I find a lot of satisfaction to be had from working this way. That really does. Do you guys remember when we went through... Why is my phone doing such funny things? Strange. Weird stuff. I mean, weird stuff has been happening lately. Just weird stuff, movement. But that's not weird for this house, so never mind. Not weird. Scratch that. Alright, so, yeah, do you guys remember when we were talking about the Buka vessel? Yes, this makes me want to just go crazy with skulls, get more and more, and just keep creating and creating, but I don't want that. I don't want that much chitter-chatter. So, alright, the tradition that the author follows places great emphasis on connecting with the ancestors, and I can't think of a single working that doesn't involve them in some way. I always use my ancestors, always, always, always. They are the foundation. They're why you're here. If it wasn't for them, we would not be here. So, there are two essential things on our altar, the stone and the bone. The stone is the hearthstone, obviously, and the coven has one, and many, if not all of us, have personal ones on our own altars, too. It represents the hearth on which we gather a strong family connection. And that's what lineage is, like witchcraft lineages, family traditions. That's all it is. So yeah, it does have other meanings too, but it is the primary one. So the bone is traditionally a skull, and simpler times would have used literally the skull of an ancestor. But obviously we can't do that today. So for us, it is more practical to use a life-size, pewter skull. Ooh, this represents the ancestors, and we activate the altar, or part of it, to breathe life, just like Gemma Gary wrote, into the ancestors, so that we may enflesh their legacy. So we always invite them to attend our rites and at our initiations. They are an essential component, as the candidate is first fostered into the family, and then later, when the ancestral memories have been shown to be active in them, adopted into the family as a full member. Basically, that is joining your coven. So whichever coven you've chosen, whichever coven spirit has guided you to. Alright, so he says here, our training is experiential. We learn by doing, and the exercise we do are designed more to awaken those ancestral memories than they are to teach us technique. So it's pretty, I love this. I love the emphasis on ancestors. So we do use techniques, but once the memories are awakened, we find that the tools that got us there often fall away to allow the inherent process to take over. So basically, like, yeah, your wand will fall away, or, you know, something related to them that you work with will just not be, you know, most important to you anymore, is kind of what I'm getting at. Like when you've used the board for so long, the Ouija, you eventually, I mean, for me, it turned into direct channeling, and I don't really need the board, but I still use it because I like it. So, if that sheds light on it. Alright, so the I already went over that. So we also seek to expand our understanding of lore, and that is where tapping the bone comes in. So alongside our practical work, we make use of myth, poetic language, and riddles to help us uncover the underlying principles of our practice. So for if we understand the principles, we can devise new or improved practical techniques. So, I mean, literally, it is really amazing. It is ever-changing, always evolving. It's always, upping it and upping the ante. So, where'd I go? Okay, now, we blah, 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 where'd I go? Okay, so we make use of myth, poetic language, and riddles to help us uncover the underlying principles of our practice. So, for if we understand the principles, we can divide. I already read all that to you guys. Tapping the bone refers to the act of tapping into the ancestral memories in order to work through these mystic, poetic, or riddling concepts. It is a form of directed gnosis. So basically channeling knowledge. Channeling knowledge. So the result of this is that the tradition itself evolves, never static, always changing as we discover new lore or reclaim lore that was lost. Each of our initiates works with a patron matron, a specific deity who chooses us at our initiation or fostering. Oh my god, my nose is itching really bad. So we work daily through devotionals and meditations to deepen our link with our patron, and our understanding of the lore is colored by the nature of that entity. I think that's pretty interesting. What do you guys think? So when we share our individual perspectives in order to create a more powerful or a rounded whole, Sabbats for us revolve around our paths, our gods, and our ancestors. We do not use an agricultural wheel of the year. That's very Wiccan. That's Wiccan. That's not traditional craft. So, but rather the cycle of the sacred king, and as a result, we all walk the wheel in a very real way. So, it has a profound effect on every aspect of our lives, and our Sabbats flow together as parts of a whole because of this. Now at Samhain, this group works a public rite with Gwyn ap Nudd and the Wild Hunt, bringing the souls of those who have died during the year together to be escorted through the gates into the cauldron of rebirth. So in a private working where we explore the mysteries of the mound. So part of our involvement in ancestral working is that we don't hold with the modern concept of reincarnation. This is what I really like, because this is what I think reincarnation honestly is. So, we see the birth of an individual as a privilege, not a right. Most people, when they die, are returned to the cauldron of Ceridwen. I can't say that name for the life of me. To become part of the cosmic soup. So, from which all things are made. So while as they give life, they live again. It is not as one discrete individual, but rather their components are recycled. So, however, there are those who, by some great deed of heroism, that just about came out really wrong, spirituality, or wisdom, earn the right to come back as whole individuals. So we call them the mighty dead, and they become teachers and leaders who come back again and again until they are ready to stop returning. So that's really honestly what I think about reincarnation. That's truly the words. I've never seen words that describe my belief in reincarnation. So these are the ancestors we work with and learn from and hope to become. I'm done coming back. I don't know why, but I am just done coming back. It's old. It gets old. Especially when you feel like you can feel it. But anyways, where did I go? Crap, I don't know where I went. Okay, so these are the ancestors we work with and learn from and to hope to become. One last note on ancestors. Believing, as we do, that time only appears to be linear, so we see ancestors as being those who came before us, those who came after us, ancestors who were and who are yet to be. So it's not linear. It's very cyclical. So working with ancestors requires an operation of paradox, appreciation of paradox, and I think we can all appreciate a good paradox. Honestly, I do. Far as the old witch saying goes, truth is most oft found betwixt the horns. Generally, books on Wicca don't speak about about ancestral work, and there is an unfortunate popular impression that one of the great differences between between Wicca and traditional witchcraft is that Wiccans don't work with ancestors, and this is not true. It may not be written much, about in the books, but traditional witches often put down Wiccans as fluffy bunnies. Yeah, I do, because they are generally more inclined to lighter, gentler practices. But Wicca is a tradition as valid as any passed on within a family for generations. And Gardner himself, blah blah blah, showed evidence of tapping the bone when he wrought his Wicca out of the pieces of he wrought his Wicca out of the pieces he was given by his initiates. Likewise, Wiccans often put down traditional witches as being dark, even demonic, when the truth is that we all come out of the darkness, and the point of balance is where there is greatest power and beauty. So, I think that is incredibly interesting, especially from a traditional craft perspective. I love it. I think it's amazing. So now when looking back, when Gemma Gary's book, she likes to talk about the Eldritch Terrors and, the Elder Faith, and now I completely understand where this guy's coming from. So, it's worth it to read the book. And then there's one little quote that they left, and I had to note that down in my journal. So, dark and light, black and white, witches crafting through the night. I thought it was brilliant. It was beautiful. So that is really basically tapping the bone. Literally tapping the bone to retrieve, to recover, and to get ancestral memories and knowledge from them. And it's pretty interesting when, say, if a coven were to work with one ancestor, like my grandma, like me, people that me and a few others, like Eric, Mothman, you guys know him here on YouTube. Like one of the greatest, Bigfoot, everything you can imagine. Aliens, UFOs, Bigfoot, all of it. That man is amazing. So yeah, me and him will get very, very, very similar messages, and we always come up with the same exact answer to questions. Only different, just different riddles. And that to me would show that my grandma is a mighty dead. So, and then other people claim to get messages from her, and I just don't find that happening much, if at all. So, but that is just, I love the concept of what they do with tapping the bone, with the skulls. Can you guys see my skull today? Kinda. Here, I'll see if I can slant it. There we go. So yes, that is my skull that will be getting a remake, a big makeover. Because it does, it needs to be a buka vessel. I need to get another one for the ancestors. But then again, the buka and the old ones, the ancestors, the mighty dead, are all together. So, it would probably be best to have a separate skull for the ancestors, and then one maybe for the buka. But then again, it could be both. One with just two uses, like a double-edged sword, maybe. Who knows? So, has anybody finished Lucifer? I like to publicly spoil it for everybody else on my Facebook page, but I won't for you guys, so I think it's hilarious how many people have deleted me for spoiling it. Which I really honestly don't care. But anyways, alright guys. I hope you enjoy. I love you guys very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, feed those ancestors, it's Monday. So, all my love, all the way from Venus, all the way back down. And I will see you all tomorrow. Everybody be safe. I love you guys. And yeah, just be safe. And don't get sick. Just, yeah. And yeah, so I'm going to shut up. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.